Hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Paper Dungeon. Tonight we have a little one shot. Right now, when you guys are watching this, I am on my way to the mountains. So we had to do a little pre-recording. We got a little one shot that we're going to be doing tonight. Probably going to be fairly short. Also, I apologize for this. This makes me feel like I'm in a fifth grade production, but it's like noon right now. And so it's so bright from the windows that I have back there that it backlights me, it washes me out. You literally couldn't see my face. And so I had to make do. So I apologize for that.
Yeah.
The faceless DM did not make an appearance.
Grant is on a business trip.
Oof.
Oh, yes. There's
So
also not Grant.
That's why he's not here.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm all alone for 5 days.
Aaron's dream.
I kind of always am alone.
That's true. That's true. You guys live in two separate houses that just happen to be
happen to be on top of each other.
Exactly. That's basically what you guys do. We don't have a intro to go through. But we'll real quick run through just some basic announcements. We'll just keep it trim. We'll start with you, Drew. Keep it trim.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Check us out. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check us out. Share us with your friends. If you want to support us, you could donate or check us out on Patreon. Also, thank you to the podcast listeners for watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, not watching on Spotify, and other podcast platforms.
Watching on Spotify.
They might watch it on Spotify. They just watch Little Bar Move.
Yeah, right.
It's like when you listen to the Star Wars soundtracks and the lightsaber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. Keep it trim. All right, Aaron, what's up?
We have a Discord and you should be in it. We have a website and you should go to it. It's www.thepaperdungeon.com. There's a merch store that you should buy stuff from.
Boom. Nice. And for, I think, Drew, you already said it, right?
Yeah. Shout out to the YouTube.
Yep, I did Grant's job.
Good job. And your job.
We did it all. This is the most efficient intro we've ever had.
This probably is the most efficient intro. Notice that Grant's not a part of it.
Well,
Which is,
and a few other people.
The seriousness, the most seriously. That's how you say that, right? English.
I don't know what you're saying.
Anyway, never mind. Well, we don't have an intro, so we're just gonna get started with this episode. Okay, I'll go through my little spiel. So, Aaron and Drew, you guys play two small boys from well-off families. I should say a well-off family and a hick. For the one, Drew, you are Mr. Ultrez, correct?
Yes.
A well-off human boy coming from a long line of bards and entertainers. Would you please describe your character to me?
Yeah. I did not think about this at all. He's so Ultrez is a 12-year-old boy, pretty skinny for the most part. Not doesn't have hasn't quite filled out with his build yet as a young boy. Has kind of shaggy brown hair, green eyes, a fairly nice complexion and face to him. Hasn't quite hit puberty yet, so doesn't have all the pimples yet. He's just a young boy, and just kind of has this just adorable little charm to him. This well-mannered, cute boy who loves playing instruments and singing to people.
Very nice, very nice. Ultrez, you live in the town of Lana Ray, a coastal town. For kind of just in general, a higher up town, fairly small but full of elite families. Oftentimes they will either have one primary residence here, or this is also pretty common to have like their secondary home or maybe their third home, kind of their beach house type home here. So the town is well off, but oftentimes it's actually kind of empty because half the time the people that own the real estate here don't actually even live here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But your family, this is their primary residence. This is where you guys have lived for several generations, as your family has become very renowned as entertainers of the highest caliber. that often end up playing for the most prestigious of families and elite people within the region. And so you've grown up here in this town. You're very familiar with it. You love the ocean down by the beach. Your family has a little section, a private section of the beach where you have a little dock that has a canoe that you guys get taken out fishing on all the time. You have a little shed that has, all your stuff in it, like your fishing poles and beach balls, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And not too far, just on the outskirts of the town, down by the water, there is a little shack. And inside that shack, there's a little boy that you have become very good friends with. Little Triton boy. Aaron, would you please describe your character?
I'm playing Cud. Cud is a Triton, so he's like a little boy, but they become full adults at the age of 15. So I'm like 12 in comparison to you're like 11 or whatever.
You mean you're like 15 or 16?
No, like how old are you?
Well, I'm 12.
Yeah, you're 12. So I'm like also 12, but I look like I am like 16 to 17 because
just a full-grown
I'm a full fish boy. Cud doesn't know a lot about how people work because most of Cud's friends are fish. Cud likes fishing and sleeping. His mother was a siren and his father was a Triton. And his mother, long before when he was a very, very young child, so whole like 11 years ago, his mother told him stories about how she was from a very, very distant line of oceanic royalty. That was before the tidal wave came and took them both. And he hasn't seen him since. So it's been a very like tadpole style parenting. But he's been able to manifest some of his oceanic royalty in some small ways, shapes, and forms. Although he doesn't really understand how it works. He just spends most of his days palling around, his long legs reclined, has a pole in the water, might not even have bait on it. Half the fun of fishing is just sleeping.
Just sleeping.
And he has sometimes he goes and he sneaks into other people's ponds. The only people that really know about him are fishermen. And Ultrez, who found him one day while he was crouched on a stump in the lake in his backyard. And ever since then, Cud has kind of taken Ultrez on all sorts of adventures into the wild and to the lagoon, and shows him things like weird butterflies and a baby bird, like weird stuff that like
weird
the weird lake guy likes.
It's like Magic Treehouse.
Yeah.
Well, today we'll start off like many other days. You guys woke up. Cud, you've probably been awake since dawn.
Yeah.
You've been
Good
fishing
hours.
You've already fished for like 4 hours today by the time the Ultrez gets up. And you find yourself at the I don't know what Ultrez's last name, his family's estate. As Ultrez is very excited. The day before, his butler, the head butler, Giovanni Wyatt, had promised that they could take the canoe and do a little fishing out just a little ways into the bay. You don't want to get too far out because the currents will catch you up, whole 9 yards, but just a little ways so you can do a little bit of a deeper fish, maybe try and get something a little bit bigger than what you guys have in the pond. So you guys are very, very excited.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Giovanni woke you up, Ultrez, got you all dressed, you're ready to go, and you guys now find yourself standing on the beach, the canoe ready to be pushed out. Excited. What would you guys like to do?
So to clarify, Cud is not with me.
No, Cud is with you.
Oh, Cud is.
So
with
it's you and me on the beach with the canoe.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought Giovanni was fishing with me for a second there.
Nah.
I'm like, that's
No, Giovanni took care, got you all woken up, and he was like, all right, go do your thing. You
happy like Giovanni and the server is happy, but anyway, because I don't know, because like I'm kind of hungry, and the food that was served for breakfast, it was okay, but like do you think we're gonna eat like we're gonna be able to eat any of the fish that we get today?
Yep. Cud's not a man of many words.
Oh dear. That means I have to do majority
realize
of the
the trap that he
roleplay.
set himself up for.
He's a man of more words than that, but it's early morning and you're like 11. So
You
he's like,
guys continue to get the canoe ready. Cud especially paying close attention to the fishing poles, making sure that the reel is ready, that the
I just
hooks
have
are
a stick.
tied.
It's
I,
just a stick with a string.
I like to imagine like Giovanni like got Ultrez like this really nice like state of the art
it's
fishing
fancy.
pole, and meanwhile Cud just has the stick.
Yeah,
He has a literal like willow branch that's like
Yeah.
still green.
I made it fresh this morning.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm like looked at this pole. I'm like, well, I'll be. And
This
I
might
looked
be-
very carefully in.
Yeah. This might be
Like-
the best
I'm
thing
like-
I've ever made.
I'm looking at the boat. I'm like, oh, this thing has paddles. Oh, that's nice. I'm used to just swimming places.
You guys,
Are you
hit the boat.
Are you like a really fast swimmer, Cud?
Well, I'm not as fast as my pa or my ma, but yeah.
How fast are they?
I would say around 40 feet, 80 if I try.
You could go 80 feet a second.
Well, okay, not a second. It's like it's in across 6 seconds.
Wow. I wish I could swim that
Her-
fast.
her stroke, you know.
Yeah,
I'm still, Giovanni every Thursday, he works with me in the swimming pool that we have at this state, and I'm not that good, but I'm getting there.
My favorite thing about this so far is that your house has a private beach on the ocean, a lake in the backyard, and now a maintained pool as well.
You know that it's the rich person thing where it's a pool, it's a saltwater pool connected to the ocean.
Yeah. It's one of those
That
infinity
like
pools.
yeah, and so it's just like they cut out part of the beach to have their own pool.
Also, as a side note, I didn't do this on purpose, but I did just think about this fact, how I am adding to the lore that all bards are rich.
Oh, why wouldn't they be?
They're kind of the epitome of what you need. You're a jack of all trades with good charisma. That's kind of what you need to be successful in business, right there.
And they can probably sing.
Probably.
That's
True.
like the 3 things.
That's true. Everybody loves a man who can sing, or a woman that can sing. Anybody loves a person who can sing.
Heck, it doesn't have to be a person. The people love that singing AI nowadays. Whew.
The
Boy,
plankton.
there's some bangers out there.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You guys finish loading up the canoe and shove off into the ocean to try and get some fish. You paddle your way out just a little ways, trying to be careful to make sure that you don't get pulled out too far to the point where you can't get back in, and you find a nice little spot where you're feeling good. You can see that the water is nice and clear. There's a little bit of just a little rock to the boat. It's just something soothing, calming, you know. And Cud, you especially, you're like, this is the spot.
Oh yeah,
like
I can feel it.
we're gonna catch a good haul right now. And so
Nice.
you guys set up your lines and you begin to fish. Let's go ahead and roll. First, let's see. What's the first thing that we should do? Let's go with a survival check.
That's a thing that I know how to do.
As we begin, as we get set,
Either that or a sleight of hand if
Ul-
you guys really want to get fancy with it.
Ultrez. Ooh, I mean, I'll do sleight of hand if that's an option.
Nice.
Ultrez, though, he's gonna be, as he's like holding it, this pole that's way too big for him. He's like full. He's like almost like hugging it in order to keep it like up. And he's just kind of humming to himself. He's like,
Bardic inspiration.
and yeah, he will bardically inspire Cud.
Nice.
Is it a D6 at this point in time?
It's a D6, yes.
Oh, we're crushing it out here tonight. It's 23 for Cud.
Okay, very nice.
Cud, by the way, like we're in a canoe. Cud is perpendicular to the canoe.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has his long. Cud has like long legs, even for like a Triton.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're practically frog legs.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's just what I was thinking.
He's so much length to him.
He's
long
a frog
arms. Yep, long legs. Like I would say 90% of his body is outside of this canoe. Like it's like
He's
so
got
much
the
towards
feet hanging over.
It's kind of
his back is up there.
It's like Cud is on the opposite side of the canoe as Ultrez, and Ultrez is like sitting like with knees up, like just like all here. Meanwhile, Cud is just like fully spread out.
The canoe is going this way, and Cud's body extends. The pole is like between his legs. He has one leg crossed under his other one to hold the pole, and he's manning the line on the pole. Because it sits between his toes, so that way he can feel if the line moves.
Yeah.
And then his arms are crossed and his head is back. His hat is over his face.
Yeah.
He might have been asleep for since he got out here.
Absolutely. Drew, what'd you get for your check?
13.
13. Okay. All right. You guys cast your lines and wait for just a little while, letting it sit, letting the bait, kind of marinate for a second before. After a moment, Ultrez, you feel something. You're like, oh, this could be it. This could be it. You go to set the hook, and it immediately just rips out.
Oh.
And you're just like, oh. Meanwhile, Cud, you're sitting back, and you feel a little twinge of something between your toes. Could be something, maybe. Before your line starts to run.
I let it go for just a second. Feel it. Now, mind you, there's not a lot of line to run. This is just a stick with some string.
Yeah. You let the line run for as long as you can let it go. Let this fish really think that it's home for you before you sit up and just whoosh, crank it in. And you actually pull hard enough that you can see it, just the little fish kind of flop out at the surface. You can't get high enough before you start the battle of reeling it in, laying it out, reeling it in.
It's just with my hands. I've got the string and I've got it around one hand. I'm just going.
Absolutely. But after a short battle, you guys catch your first fish of the day. Pull it in. Got this nice, I don't know,
saltwater bass.
Yeah. Is there saltwater bass? Is that a thing?
Probably.
I don't know.
This is a fantasy world.
We can do whatever we want.
Saltwater
bass. Yeah, saltwater bass. It's about probably a foot long or so. It's got a little bit of meat to its bone. It's not a bad catch. I'll let you decide if you want to keep it.
I look at it and I look at Ultrez and say, "What do you think, kiddo?"
Wow, God, you're really good at this. How long have you been fishing?
You guys have been friends for a while, and this is all he does.
He's small. He's a small child.
Every day.
He does. I like to imagine Ultrez doesn't even know how old Cud is.
Yeah. In Ultrez's mind, Cud's like 20 something. He's a full
dog. I'm like 80.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I go. I don't know. A long time.
Whoa. I mean, that looks like a pretty big fish.
It's pretty big. Got bigger, caught smaller.
That's like almost as big as me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't actually eat fish. If you want to keep it, we can.
Ultrez will ponder for a moment, and he'll.
You make eye contact with the fish.
Yeah, he'll look at the fish, and he'll say, "I don't know. I mean, does the fish have a family too, like you?"
Well, I don't know. I know that it can understand me, but I don't think that it understands that we can understand it too well.
I think you would probably let him go, right?
If that's what you want, I appreciate it. Some of these fish can be very good friends out there. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna look it in the eye and say, "Sorry about that, friend. No need to be too scared. Just keep any shiny pointy things out of your mouth from now on. Till you're big and strong, you can rip those fishermen right into the water." I'm just gonna slide them back into the ocean.
Nice fish
Jaw,
role play,
I
DJ.
can communicate with aquatic creatures. They can understand me, but I can't understand them.
Nice. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah. So
Oh, my jaw hurts from making guppy sounds.
DJ,
you should get
DJ
one of
the
those,
fish.
One of those jaw strengtheners.
Right.
That, like, you just bite down.
You
all
just
the
chew
time,
on for a
you get
second?
That chiseled, like, diamond jaw.
You guys let the fish go. And for the next hour or two, you continue kind of with this trend where you'll sit back and you'll relax, not much conversation. After a little while, you notice the breeze start to pick up. But it's not too much to be concerned about. You're pretty content. And at one point, you both kind of start to doze off just a little bit. You know, the sun's beating down, the fish are slow to bite, conversations are really going, just a little slight doze. You know, the fish will still catch. You got the string between your toes. At this point, Ultrez Cud has taken the reel off of your pole.
Yeah.
And has set you up the same way that Cud set up because you're so bad at catching fish.
100%.
They're like, it's all in the feeling of it. You gotta know the line before you can. Yeah, you've got all these fancy things. You gotta start at the start.
And so you both begin to drift off for just a little bit before Ultrez, you wake up to kind of a splash of seawater kind of coming up on your face.
Wow.
Little spray. You wake up.
I know. God, I think I got it in my eye.
That happens sometimes. It's just salt water. So are your tears. You'll be all right.
I know. I'm okay. I'm okay. Never mind.
Ultras, you look around and you realize that you are far offshore.
Whoa.
The current has taken you further and further out, and the wind has picked up quite a bit, so that now the current is going the opposite direction of the shore. And you can just barely see the shore in the distance, but you know that you are in trouble because you, sir, are now way farther than you should be to be able to get back on just a canoe.
I tap Cud like on his toe, right in front of me.
Say,
Yeah.
Cud, look, we're with the fishes.
Oh, we better not be.
Cud, you look around, and as you kind of come to and realize the situation, the shore just disappears over the horizon
Oh,
as you
that's
continue
not
to
good.
float out further and further and further.
Well, that's troublesome.
Cud, are we gonna go on another adventure?
I don't know
Like-
if I'd
like-
call this as much
Like when
an
we
adventure.
saw like the baby birds, or like the little kitten stuck in the tree,
Yeah.
or like that one time that you took me to like the swamp place that you just told me not to tell anyone about.
It's a lot like that. Hopefully, it's going to be shorter than that, and not in a bad way.
On the opposite horizon, directly across from where you came from, you see land begin to appear once again. And this is the direction
Whoa!
the current is currently taking you.
Cud, we've circled the whole planet. Look,
I don't know enough
the
to say
shore
that
is
you're
right there in
wrong
front
about
of
that.
us.
Yep, that's land.
Cud, you really can swim fast.
I'm in a boat.
Cud, you know exactly what's going on. You know that from what you've heard, where you guys are heading towards the Trilake Island.
Gotcha.
Trilake. What the locals will call the Tri-Lake Island, but you know as Trilake.
Yeah. I'm headed towards the Trilake Island.
That's right. That's
The
right.
Trilake
I'm
Island?
headed
What's
towards the
that?
Trilake is land. It's It's not quite another. Well, it's a shore, but it's a bunch of land a little bit away from the rest of everything else, which is good because if we floated out in the middle of nowhere, I don't think I know how to get you back home. So,
Whoa.
yeah,
Wait. Cut. Are you saying that we could get lost?
I think that we already are.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty lost. Well, I mean, on the bright side, we know which way is back. The trouble is getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Can do we get to go back like we could like go back in like the boat? Like a big boat?
Let me drive the boat.
Well, if there's a big boat on that island, then that's a good way to get back home. But this little boat ain't making it.
What's an island?
Oh, it's that.
Is that
Yeah, the Tree Lock Island.
the trees like a island?
Yeah.
Is back home a tree like a island?
No. That's just home.
That's just okay. Okay.
At this point, the wind picks up quite a bit, causing the current to continue to move faster and faster and faster. And it's not long now before you find yourself on the beach of this new island. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon or so when you find yourself stranded here on this island.
Well, I think our best bet is probably going to be waiting it out until the tide calms down a bit, and then I might be able to get back and see if I can get some help to come for you. But we should probably try to set up shop, make sure that we aren't in any trouble.
Okay.
I've never been to Trilake Island, so I don't know what's over here. I just seen it a couple of times. I've been out swimming and such.
Well, people tell me that I'm really that like they like me a lot, like they like it when I sing to them and stuff. So like if there are people here, I'm sure I could get them to help us.
You sure got one pretty singing voice, Ultrez. So I'm sure that you can.
So, you guys find yourself on this island. I have a number of things that you guys will have to do
I know.
to survive the night.
Oh,
And
dear.
if you pass them all, then you guys get to enjoy a nice night with your bellies full, hydration level at its peak, safe in your shelter, and warm from the night chill.
I'm trying to think. There's like a I don't remember. It's like
We're playing Minecraft, but it's the super hardcore edition where
Well-
tracks your hydration and all that.
well, yeah, because like there is like an actual like game that's become more popular more recently where like you're like a survivor like on a raft and you have.
Survivor IO.
It's probably called Raft.
I think I was gonna say I think it is
like
called
the
Raft.
Raft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look. Raft.
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 Raft. Look at that.
That's the one. a good
That's
game.
the one.
Video
Raft. Oops. Wait. Raft is an open-world survival sandbox video game developed by Spears developer Redbeat and published by Axolot Games. The game was really. This is not telling me anything important about this. Great.
You're on a raft and you got
It's a survival sandbox
to build
video
your
game.
raft.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you expand your raft. Then you have to fight off a shark sometimes.
Nice. Very cool.
Hey God, do you think we're gonna see any sharks?
Well, honestly, a couple of sharks might not be too bad. Might be able to convince them to pull this canoe back.
Whoa. Are you like a shark whisperer?
Well, I talk to all sorts of fish, and most of them are the only things that hang out with me. Only people that are around too much down at the lagoon.
I bet fish are good friends. Fish are friends, not food.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they are. Sometimes, if you're real hungry, sometimes you got to be eating fish. But
Sometimes
most of
that
the
fish
time,
is-
no. And none of the ones that are my friends, I eat. I don't eat them.
But you do eat fish?
I try not to, but there have been a couple of times that I've been stuck. Sometimes in a situation much like this one, where you gotta eat something,
And like
and it's either the fish or you.
do you have like a favorite fish?
I call him Gerard. He's a good guy.
Is this an individual fish or a type of fish, Cud?
What?
Is Gerard an individual fish or a type of fish? Because
There's more than one type of fish. I thought that there was just fish and the people. God? Having
there are three things that Cud knows in life. There's fish, there's people, and there's fish people. Those are the three things that Cud knows.
No, as far as Cud knows, Cud and Ultrez are the exact same thing. They just I happen to have gills and you don't. But like he's seen other people that have like different hair color.
Yeah, I mean, I've told
pretty much the
Cuds
same
all sorts of
thing.
stories about people who've cut, like there've been people with red skin and horns. There have been people with like 4 arms and like
I kind of
hairy.
just assumed that's how it
There
worked.
are-
There's
There
fish,
are like
just
really
like
short
all-
people. They're really tall
all birds.
people.
So in
There are
short,
birds,
Cud doesn't
people,
see race.
fish.
Good for Cud.
Yeah, Cud doesn't see
And,
color.
and look,
Yeah.
if you took 2 fish and you
Wait,
put
is
them
Cud
next to each other,
colorblind?
what? Cud's been blind this whole time. He can't see anything.
Too many,
He's
too many days out squinting on the boat.
Yeah. That's why he covers his face, so that way no one knows that he's blind.
That's right. Right. This is turning too much into the blind sensei trope.
Yeah, this is an
Blind
episode where we delve
sensei.
into Cud's psyche.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for table scraps this week.
Oh man, it's gonna be all about Cud. I'm gonna come up with hours of lore.
At this point, you notice clouds on the horizon.
Hey, Cud, there's
Right.
clouds on the horizon.
They look to be dark, potentially heavy with rain.
I think those are called cumulonimbus.
Them are clouds. We should probably find some kind of shelter.
But have we made it to shore?
Oh yeah, you've been on shore this whole time.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been stunned by the realization that there might be different types of fish. Tell you what, we probably shouldn't go too far away from each other, but I suppose the beach is probably pretty safe. See if you can just walk the length of the beach. I'll go one way, you go the other way, and then we'll meet up back here. I take my fishing rod and I plant it in the sand.
Mhm.
And if you
You
find
put your stick in
anything
the
that we
ground.
can use, yeah, we put yeah, that's the one. I got nothing. I draw a line in the sand, you know.
Yeah.
And if we find any kind of shelter, we can meet up back here and bring the other one to it. Say give it maybe 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. I will meet you back here in 10 minutes.
Yep, 10 fingers. Let's pitter patter. Let's get at her.
You guys begin to walk opposite directions. I will have both of you go ahead and make investigation checks for me.
Well, it's above a 10.
That's good.
18.
18. All right.
That's good. No correction. It is a 10.
Oh, nice. You guys split up. Cud,
I'm
you
even
go.
proficient in investigation. I'm just not that smart.
You go left. Ultras, you go right, and you guys begin to make your way around. As you do, Cud, you're circling, trying to find something that could be some sort of shelter, a little cave or a little like the roots of a big tree, something
Mhm.
natural, something like that.
Ultras just
And it-
finds a mansion.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's a
Just some
whole
shack.
summer home.
Yeah.
house.
And it's
Timeshare.
you're not really finding a whole lot of natural protection this way. But Ultrez, as you begin to move out, you know that you were supposed to stay on the beach,
Yeah.
and you kind of stick close-esque.
And yeah,
To the
I like to imagine actually he takes like 3 steps and instantly like kind of forgets what he's actually supposed to be doing. So
Yeah,
he's taking out his lute and just is playing while walking and just kind of like has his eyes closed and he's just sauntering around.
Yeah, you're playing, you're walking. When you kind of you have a little stumble in the sand for just a second. Just you catch your foot real quick, and you notice that there's this little kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's an animal. It's not it's
A bear.
Possum.
Yeah, right. No, it's
A weasel, a ferret.
yeah,
What
a
is it?
ferret. That's the one. Thank you.
10
you.
out of 10.
You see a little ferret kind of poking its head out the brush, kind of ever so lightly bob into your music.
Yes. I see that. I falter for just a moment, but then I keep playing, and I like my eyes go wide, and he kind of kneels down like just very slowly in front of the little weasel. He's like, "Hi, guy."
You
do
kneel
know where
down, and he begins to saunter over, and he kind of scampers up your leg and around your neck and down the other side, before kind of going back towards the brush and like stopping just beforehand and looking back at you, and then slowly going into the brush. Do you follow him?
Of course.
Yes.
I'm on a
Eaten
magical
by a
adventure,
bear.
and I just met my best friend, the ferret.
This is
Of
a glowing
course.
ferret. It has a side cast for you. Absolutely.
Yes, of course. Clearly, my music is leading me to
That's right.
the shelter that we need to go to.
I
That's
hate to
exactly-
break it to you, but this is definitely an escort quest. So
Yeah,
you've chosen the wrong one.
I'm gonna walk 10 paces forward and then have to wait,
and it's gonna
then-
get lost. It's gonna, where did he go? And you're gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Right.
backtrack. It's
I
just
am-
like,
You
right
follow this
here.
weasel through the brush. Not for too long. The island's really not all that big. But it is appropriately named because the weasel leads you to the center of the island, which is only about, 20 or so yards inland, where you find this small clearing. And it's only a clearing because there are 3 small lakes that kind of make a triangle at the center. But it goes up and it begins to drink from the lake. And at this moment when you realize just how thirsty you really are, you go up.
He'll as soon as he sees the water and he just goes, yeah. He just throws his loot onto his back and just like on all fours just scampers up right next to the weasel and just goes.
Yeah. You begin drinking from the lake, and you quickly realize that it's a freshwater lake.
Nice. That's
so-
good. Otherwise this kid was gonna die of dehydration.
Yeah, don't drink saltwater, kids. It's bad. Don't drink the seawater. A little bit of salt
Also,
is good. Electrolyte water is
normally
good.
you shouldn't drink from lakes. They're like, they have to be moving water is what you want.
Yeah, running water.
Lakes oftentimes have some sort of inlet and outlet, but yeah, nonetheless.
Yeah, try to find the where it gets the water from.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the good spot.
Yeah, this is an underwater spring. You can see those little bubbles at the bottom.
Okay, that's finer.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
This is how this Ultrez dies of dysentery. That's how this story
This is
ends.
the Oregon Trail now. But you do see as you kind of look up, water just pouring out of your mouth in buckets. But there's this little kind of like broken down lean-to against one of the bigger trees here. Clearly somebody has survived here before, and this is the shelter that they had, but it is overgrown, it's rotted, it's broken, but the bones are there, and you quickly realize that this could be a good spot for you.
Yeah, he'll after like drinking some of the water, he just like looks up and sees it. He's like, whoa. He like gets to his feet real quick, brushes himself off, and like will like meander around a little bit and be like, whoa, this kind of reminds me of Cud's place.
Pretty accurate.
I wonder if this is Cud's beach house. Whoa, Cud never told me that he has a second house. But I'm sure he has lots of houses. The guy's great. I mean he's like a really expert fisherman person, right? Like surely like he's like world famous or something. Whoa. And then he like real quick turns around and starts running his way back to the spot.
Yeah, you scamper back to the spot. A couple moments later, Cud, you come back.
Cud, I found your second beach house. It's actually
I
more
don't
like a
know, I
lake
had
house,
a
though.
first-
I suppose, because it's not really on the beach. It's more like inland, I guess. But yeah, I found a place.
Well, that's good. I didn't know I had a first beach house.
Well, is like isn't your house like on the beach back home?
I it's a shack I found. I don't know if I don't own much. And I don't know if I could call it a house.
I mean, but like, is it like any place that is like four walls and a ceiling, a house? Like, if you sleep there and that's where your friends see you.
It might be a house, but it's not always a home.
Hey, careful! Your neighbors might be downstairs.
I know. They'll be pissed.
Cud says, "Well, suppose I never thought about it that way."
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I think your place is pretty cool. It's right there on the water. It's really easy to hear the waves when you go to sleep. You can wake up in the morning and go
'Cause there's
fishing
no
right
door.
away. And
That's-
and like you have like the little cot with the pads on it and stuff. It's kind of fun because it
Yeah.
like creaks just a little bit, reminding you that you're there.
I suppose it is a house. I don't know if I could call it mine because I mainly just washed up on shore one day and that's where I happened to be. And then I just suppose I never left and no one's ever told me to leave.
Well,
So I suppose
you
it
know,
might be mine.
I think that must mean that it is yours, because that means that the waves knew where you were supposed to be.
I like your way of thinking, kid. Well,
If
anyway,
only real life worked that
yeah,
way.
show me to this here new lake house you found.
Yeah, and he'll grab Cud's hand and quickly like pull him along.
Yeah. I'm just taking really long steps and you're taking like 30.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I do run like when I like walk, I almost my family name that Cud doesn't know because he was too young to know it and he doesn't remember it is Lily Hopper.
Lily.
Yeah, so they take very long. Oh, they almost like jump when they run. It's very like
Bound.
bouncy, like they bound.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you guys,
I follow Ultrez.
you follow Ultras as he leads you just off the beach and about 20 or so yards into the brush when you come upon these 3 freshwater little pools. You can tell they're fed by an underground spring, so they're safe to, like, you just immediately know all this. You're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
good water right here.
One pinky in, it's like I'm testing spice.
Yeah, you're just like, yep, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fresh water. That's clean. That's good because you didn't drink from this already, did you?
Oh, I did.
The
weasel.
Ultrez, you can't.
No.
That's dangerous.
My friend the ferret. He points. Is the ferret still there?
No,
No. Oh,
you're crazy now.
Oh, he left. Well, my friend the ferret. He showed me where it was. He liked my music.
Well, your music is pretty darn good. But in the future, just don't go drinking from any pool of sitting water that you happen to find, because there are little things in it that'll hurt you real bad.
Oh, is it like really small fishes?
Yeah, I think so. I would assume. Well, I know that it isn't really small people, and I know that's not really small birds. The only other thing that I know exists is fish. So if it ain't one of the first two, it's probably real small fish.
Probably a fish.
Okay. I won't drink the really small fish water.
Yeah. This water's fine though. This is some good water.
Okay.
Okay. Someone's gonna bottle this water in like 200 years and make a fortune.
And make a killing. The tree
See,
latte
the
spring water.
The joke's
not just
on
on
you.
its
It's
free
gonna
latte.
it's gonna be
gonna be
Ultra.
Cud.
It's gonna be Ultras and Cut in like 10
Yep.
years. They're gonna come back to this
Right.
place. And
They're gonna be like, this water saved our lives. And
Cud's
that's
just
the
gonna be
story of
living
how
there.
Trilake was founded.
Yeah, Cud's gonna be living there, and Ultras is gonna be like, God, we can make a fortune off of this. And I'm like, I don't know how money works. Okay, Mr. Barry Gordy.
Could you also notice the broken down lean-to-esque situation you got going on over there?
This ain't too bad. We could make this functional pretty quick. Go. Tell you what. I'll start looking around for some wood to just kind of stack up, and you start clearing off the brush and get away the stuff that's all gross and covering it while the plants might be all right. They can provide a little bit of insulation of some kind.
Okay.
And then I'll search for stuff to prop up and kind of fix up this lean-to, get it lean-to somewhere.
Okay. Sure.
Absolutely.
And
Uh,
Ultras will
Ultras,
saunter
I'm
over
gonna
there.
I'll have you make. Let's go with the performance check. Then we're gonna go with the dexterity performance check.
I was gonna say as Ultras begins to do, like, he at first he just kind of like is like picking up leaves or like twigs or whatever, but very quickly he again kind of just lost in his own head. He like starts to hum and then sway, and then like next thing he knows,
on the lean-to.
yeah, well, next thing he knows, he's just singing like a full song that his dad taught him how to sing, and just instinctually started dancing. And as he's dancing around, he's just like grabbing like brushes and like leaves and like and sticks or whatever, and just like kind of
Ultras
swinging them
is a
around.
Disney princess, and you can
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Not tell me otherwise. I refuse to believe it.
Absolutely. Cut. I will have you go ahead and make a investigation check for some good sticks and
I
timber.
don't suppose I could survival this.
You could survival it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a lot better than investigation.
Well,
but it's
here's what I'll
one.
have you do. I'm gonna have you go ahead and do an investigation check to find the sticks, and then a survival check to put it all together.
Okay, well, so the investigations is going to be a 16.
Okay. Yeah. Thankfully, there's lots of dead branches around, lots of trees.
Am I?
You're able to
Well,
gather
no.
good amount of timber that you think would be.
Could I
Along
request
with,
Ultrez's help?
I was
Good.
gonna say, am I in visual range of Cud, or in auditory range? Because
Yeah.
Cud would definitely like hear and see Ultras dancing and singing, and like, and just innately, it just passively, Ultras the verbiage and the dancing is imbued with just a little bit of magic, and I will give him a second bardic inspiration.
Cud looks over at Ultrez and goes, "I must protect this innocent creature of nature.
Oh, he's done that for a long time.
There's nothing but pure intention in his heart, and he must be protected from the harshness of this world."
When it comes to survival check, I imagine once I get that's not what I wanted to do. Once I get the all the branches and stuff gone over there, Cud will take out his 2 knives, that he mainly used for fishing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how he makes his rod. That's how he cleans his fish and stuff. That if he ever does have to eat them. And can I request like the help action with building it, as I'll clean off the outside branches and cut them down to the correct sizes and stuff, and kind of get him to deal with the smaller stuff as I deal with the larger ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can go ahead and roll with advantage.
That'll be a 21 off of a 17.
Plus your bardic inspiration if you want it.
Oh, sure. We're gonna make a whole. This is gonna be waterproof, dog. Oh, it's a D6, not a D8. I'm so used to it.
We're
being a
gonna
D8.
make a log cabin.
That's
That's a 27.
Yeah.
Ooh, you rolled a 6?
Yeah, I did.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, no. Ultras is right. You kind of look at this lean-to when you're gathering sticks, and you kind of look over and you see Ultras dancing in his pure childish form, and you're like, this man doesn't deserve a lean-to. He deserves a whole house. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it.
This is better than where I live.
Yeah, exactly. And so while it's not like a big log cabin or anything like that, you guys go through. Ultras, Cud shows you how to process the wood, and it's quite a tedious task because you don't have an actual saw. You have a little serration on your knife, but mostly what you're doing is you're using the natural growth of the timber and finding ways to split it long ways to create boards, and then you're using a lot of the finer green fibers to create a thread that you can tie things together with. You're managing to actually bore some holes.
Cud is going full bushcraft.
Absolutely.
Like he's pulling out random stuff from his toolkit that he does. He just found them.
Yeah,
like people,
absolutely.
he finds things in the forest all the time. He's like, "Ooh, this looks like a thing." Most of them are rusty, but he's prepared the handles to them, so they work well enough. He has like a little bit of a piece of a saw, like the handle and then a saw blade, but the rest of it's broken off that he can use on the little pieces.
That's right. And after a couple of hours, you guys have a little like shack, uh, complete with like a mud brick, not mud brick, but like
Like a mud
mud.
mortar.
Yeah, kind of like a mortar fireplace, you know? You don't have a fire in it yet or anything like that. You gotta create a fire. But you have a dedicated space that's not wood for your fire.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Whoa, Cut, you're really good at building stuff.
Well, I've had to live on my own for quite a while. So I've never really gone to it this hard, but I suppose I might have a knack for it. Of course, I couldn't have done it without your help, Ultrez. You did a fine job.
Well, thank you. I think maybe when we get back home, we can bring Mama and Papa back here, and we could show them the really cool shack that we made.
Maybe. I'm sure. Who knows? Maybe they'll stop by here anyway. Maybe it'll be them that comes and gets us. Maybe we
Ooh,
won't have to drag a boat back.
that would be kind of nice. I haven't seen them in a little while.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm sure that they're just as caught up about it as you are.
At
I'm
this
sure
time,
they're spending every day wanting to see you.
you're getting to the point where it's late afternoon, early evening. It's probably about 5, 6 o'clock. And both of your stomachs begin to gurgle and rumble just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
All right, Ultrez. Here's the thing. What I need you to do, because I happen to notice you're a little inexperienced in the art of fishing. I need you to go find some dry pieces of wood, some sticks, maybe some dry grass or a bush.
Okay.
Pretty much any kind of dry foliage. He says it wrong intentionally. I say it wrong intentionally because that's what Cud would say. So some dry foliage, and bring it back here.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can catch us some grub.
Okay. Great. I'll go do that.
Alright.
And he real quick, like just like hops out of the shed and makes his way deeper into the trees.
Yeah.
Don't go too far. Don't go running off. We don't know what's out here, so stay within screaming distance.
Okay.
Absolutely. Ultras, you take off looking for you know the objective. You guys are trying to build a fire here. That's what he's instructing you to do, gather materials for fire. So you go off searching for stuff that'd be good for kindling, stuff that would be good to start the fire, some actual good fuel for the fire, different sizes. Go ahead and make a investigation check for me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Aaron.
Yeah,
Cud.
Specifically, Cud knows that if there are underground streams that are feeding into these freshwater lakes, that probably means that there's a lot of like underground moving water.
Mhm.
So Cud's gonna go noodling. He's gonna go find a little close to the ground. He's gonna find a pit, maybe dig it out a little bit. And he's got those long lily hopper fingers, so he's just gonna reach his whole arm down in there, kind of wiggle his fingers around like a worm. Try to rustle us up a big one.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead and make an investigation check to find a really good hole for this, a good noodling hole.
Oh yeah.
I don't expect it to actually do anything for me, but while Cut is doing this, he does see Ultras like scampering deeper into like the tree line, and as he does that, these little small like golden balls of light start to appear and kind of floats around and kind of like dance like with Cud or not with Cud, with Ultras, as he's kind of like he's like skipping along through the tree line.
Nice. What'd you get for your noodling check?
It's a 14 to find the hole.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. You go through, and you kind of wade into one of the lakes, trying to stick to kind of more of the edges where a lot of the tall like water grass and lily pads and stuff like that, where they're kind of growing out of. Not so much the deep portion of the small pond, lake, whatever you want to call it, but towards the edges.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that there's a couple little holes that would be good for this. So I doubt you even have a shirt, do you?
I have cloth.
You take off your cloth, you sit down on the beach, or maybe you don't. Honestly, you probably don't care.
Oh, I gotta get my arm deep in this sucker. I'm like laying there.
That's right. And you just lay down and get your arm real deep in there. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
I rolled this preemptively because I was like, I'm gonna use a survival check, and I crit.
Nice.
I'm a noodling genius.
You get your
I
arm.
will re-roll again if you wanted me to.
You wiggle your fingers around, and you're a teenage boy. You keep yourself fed. Not only are you a teenage boy who keeps himself fed, you work hard. So you got some big arms, some respectable arms, working man's arms, arms large enough to attract the big fishes. And you kind of feel a little something brush up against your fingers for a second. And you're like, oh, maybe. Kind of backs off just for a second. Before up to your elbow, you suddenly find your arm engulfed in a fish's mouth. You feel it clamp down on your forearm, and it's almost painful for a second before you. I don't even know how noodling works. I don't know what you do with your hand.
I grab and then pull.
Yeah,
You
grab something.
They grab onto you, and you grab onto whatever you can.
Yeah, it's just they're freaking the brains. It's just their hand on their gills.
Noodling is like the crack climbing of fishing.
Yeah. Where you make a fist and try not to let it come out.
Hand jam it in the stomach. Pull that out.
Hand jam it in the stomach. I love that.
Absolutely.
You hand jam this fish and yank, and you got a little bit of suction, so you're pulling hard.
Boy.
And Ultrez, you're not too far away. You can hear Cud in the distance as he's got his head up above the water now, pulling on his arm, yelling his or whatever he's yelling to try and get this.
Yelling.
Before and this massive little splash as he pulls his arm out, and there's like a 4-foot catfish on his arm that he's like kind of wrestling with in his own arm.
Watch the whiskers.
As this happens, Cud will just looks over and sees Ultrez not that far away, like just with just a small armful of branches and twigs and stuff. And his eyes just wide. He's like, whoa.
And right now I'm attempting to I'm whispering to the catfish, and I just go, hey, it's nothing personal, buddy, but I got a kid out here, and he's got to eat something. He's got to get some meat on those bones. I don't know what they're feeding him down at his house, but it just happens to be you. I'm sorry about this, friendo. And then I'm just gonna stab him in the top of the head with a knife.
You do it however they do it, and when they're making sushi or whatever, it's just one quick blow.
Just karate chop it, and then it dies.
You quickly finish off the fish, and now have there's like 30-pound fish in your arms because it's a massive catfish. It's a big fish.
This thing has been. It's probably going to be a bit gritty. Yeah, it's been living in the muck for a long time. Gritty is better than hungry.
I'd rather have a little gamey flavor to it than starving.
Yeah.
After a little while, Ultrez, you finish gathering the wood. While this has been going on, Cud has obviously caught the fish, but he's also begun to clean the fish. Grab a little grassy section where you could, you dump the guts in the pond again and do all this type of stuff, making sure you keep it clean, nothing's gonna rot, whole 9 yards. And it's good timing because it's at this moment where you hear a clap of thunder above your head. Over the last couple of hours that you guys have been preparing and getting things going, the clouds have begun to cover the sky. You've seen little flashes in the distance, but now you hear and the rainfall begins to come down very, very heavily on this little forest. The canopy provides just a hair of relief, but not enough to keep you from getting soaked very quickly if you were to stay out here very long. You both quickly retreat into your little shack, and now you have the challenge of starting the fire.
I might have a solution to this. I'm gonna get everything all set for the fire, and actually, Ultrez probably knows how to do it. I probably taught him some time ago. and he's actually going to reach out. We have like a little like porthole window
Nice.
kind of deal in the shack. And he's going to reach his arm out into the rain and kind of rub his fingers together and almost grab out of the air a little spark that's going to turn into like a almost like a silver liquid between his fingers. And he's going to reach his hand back in and just drop it into the pile using lightning lure.
Oh, okay, nice.
Just to like get a spark started
Yeah,
on the tinder.
Perfect. You
Nice.
pull this spark and light your little bundle that you have ready, and quickly you tuck it in, get it to burn and smoke before you put the small kindling on, a little bit bigger, and you manage to get a bit of a flame going, adding kindling to it as it goes before eventually you guys have a small fire here in this little shack. You don't have a big fireplace, quote unquote fireplace, but enough where once you finish processing the fish, once you finish cleaning the fish, you'll be able to get a little bit of a stick going. You roast the fish
Yep.
over the fire.
Put them on the edges of the fire. Let them roast.
Absolutely.
After Cud gets like the fire started and gets going and kind of gets the fish set, Ultrez just kind of taps him on the shin, and he says, "Cud, how'd you do that? That was really cool.
Oh,
You like-
it's a
You grab like lightning."
it's just a trick I picked up growing up. I got a couple of tricks I can do, but that's one of the more useful ones.
Oh, okay.
Turns out there's all sorts of spiky light in the air. Normally it's up in the clouds above us, but I figured out how to use it kind of like a fishing line. It's gotten saved my hide a couple of times.
Wow, that's really cool. That's like,
I mean, I've seen you do some fancy things out there. You had that light bits going on earlier.
yeah. Well,
That's pretty useful.
it's fun. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's weird because like my dad like taught me like how to play music and how to sing and stuff. But sometimes if I listen real good, like my dad taught me how to, like I like can sing like strange notes and stuff and like melodies and like stuff happens, you know, like it's weird. Like it's like, I guess I don't know if you know anything about music, but like there are like notes and stuff. Like there's like it's like a musical, like there's certain tones and stuff, but like it's like between those tones that like magic happens. It's weird.
Magic happens.
Yeah, I don't know too much about music, none. My ma used to sing to me when I was still a tadpole. But I haven't done a whole lot with music for a real long time. Pretty much just fishing and sleeping.
Do you
But,
know, do you know like where your ma lives? Like can I meet her someday?
Who knows? If I know that she would be real far away, so it'd be pretty tough.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, it's all right. I do fine. Her and Pa they're out there.
Well,
Uh,
I guess that's kind of like my mom and pa, huh? They're out there somewhere. They
pretty similar.
go away for times.
And I'm sure that both of our ma's and pa's are waiting for us as much as we are for them.
Yeah. Cut. I thank you for being my friend. Gets real lonely
Thank you.
sometimes. Otherwise,
It's hard to hear, Bucko. But I'm thankful that you're my friend too.
as he says that, as there's just, I imagine just like sitting like crisscross applesauce, waiting for the fish to finish cooking. He just kind of Ultra just kind of like leans his head on like the side of Cud. He's just kind of humming softly to himself.
Cud doesn't move. It's like when like a cat decides to sit in your lap. And
Yeah,
like,
you're
well,
just like,
this is where I am now.
absolutely. You guys sit for a second before eventually the fish fillets are finished cooking and you guys eat. And at this point, it's getting late enough in the night that sleep is the next step. And so you guys curl up. I don't know if you want to do shifts or if you don't care.
I'll just stay awake. Now let the kiddo get some sleep.
Absolutely.
As Ultrez does go to sleep, he kind of just like you see him he kind of curls up a little bit and is just kind of sleeping on his side, and it's he stays still and quiet enough for a long enough amount of time that you know he's asleep, but then just kind of like in his dream he just starts to very quietly sing, and as that happens he's gonna just kind of instinctually cast fairy fire, and
Oh God!
and
What's happening?
and it's just gonna kind of explode out and just kind of light up the whole room in all sorts of colors of blue and pink and green and yellow, and just kind of rotate and kind of dance around them for a little bit as
I know that that's super cute in your mind, Drew, but Aaron has the right reaction. That would be terrifying.
Yep.
In the middle of the night, just suddenly
yep 100%.
dancing,
Everything's
fire
on
erupts
fire.
all around you.
Well, it's not fire. It's just lights. It's
Yeah, it's like
it's like seeing the northern lights.
yeah, Aurora Borealis. Aurora
Borealis
Borealis
around
around me.
Oh, haunt us forever, Aaron.
Forever and ever. But yeah,
You get
I'll stay the night.
Yeah, you have a bit of a light show, and it's enjoyable for a moment. But a little while later, in distance, you hear kind of a grunt noise. Something that you can tell is a little bit bigger, and you realize that between the lights, the fish, and the rain, that you guys have created a perfect attraction for animals seeking shelter.
Nice, love that.
We're
here.
I'm going to I'm gonna leave Ultrez sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to cast Fog Cloud. Just kind of centered, not on the hut, but like on the door of the hut. So it'll be like a 20-foot radius sphere, so 40 feet of fog that everything is heavily obscured. Just so that way, like the light is a bit covered. It's harder to make their way to the hut.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'll keep an eye out for things moving in the fog, the way that the fog is moving and everything like that, to kind of check and see where things are.
Absolutely. You cast Fog Cloud and allow this mist and fog to envelop you, creating a bit of a difficult situation to see in. And you still hear the grunt. It's enough that you it's getting close enough that you can truly kind of recognize it, and you know that it's some sort of bear.
Oh boy.
Something smaller. But there is enough of a grunt and kind of grizzle to it, and you can hear it, sniffing and really relying on its sense of smell to kind of sniff you guys out.
Is there any leftover of the fish?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys didn't eat 30 pounds of fish, I'm assuming.
No. I'm gonna take a fair bit of it, and I'm gonna step outside the hut.
Yeah.
And attempt to, like, where I'm hearing the sniffling sounds, I'm gonna like move so that way it points them away from the hut. And see if I can figure out what this thing is.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's the one.
For sure.
You get out, taking this fish with you, and you can tell that the bear is sniffing and it's attracted to the fish. So once you bring it out, it's really kind of getting close to you at that point. And you manage to skirt it once, maybe twice, before kind of getting out of the fog cloud and away from the shack. And the bear follows you.
Yep.
And as it does, it emerges from the fog, and you see that it's this medium-sized black bear. Black bears in general aren't massive; they're not like a grizzly bear or anything like that. And you know they're in general less dangerous than like a grizzly bear,
Mhm.
but still nonetheless it's a freaking bear.
It's a bear. Yeah.
Like
Climb
Yeah.
trees, swim faster than you. Like everything. They are
Like
murder
death
machines
machines.
meant for death.
yeah, exactly. What would you like to do?
Can I attempt to like make peace with this bear? Like I'm gonna toss some fish to it in real low hushed tones, do the like horse calming thing. So like, hey.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a animal handling check for me.
Yeah,
I'll give you
yeah.
advantage with the fish.
The beautiful part about this is I think that this is the first time in like 4 years I've made an actual animal handling check. That's gonna be a 16.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, and you roll with advantage.
Yeah, no, the first one was a 2.
That's fine. That's fine.
Uh,
You're still level 1. 16 is great.
yeah,
Great.
living the dream out here with that 16.
You get real low. You toss it a fillet and it gobbles it up real
I
quick.
don't
before
make
it-
eye contact. I don't
Exactly.
smile.
Exactly. Before it kind of gets a couple steps closer, and you kind of keep your hands out, give me a little bit more fish, and slowly it makes its way over to you. Before just kind of like sitting, you know how bears do, and like scratches its stomach,
Mhm.
and just kind of like looks at the fish, and then looks at you, and then like looks at the fish again, and like
Yeah.
looks at you.
I'll hold it out to him real gentle with like just a couple of figures, and I'll just say, "Hey there, it's all right that you're around here. We're happy to have you, but just leave the hut alone. And I don't think that we gotta have any problems. We're sorry for interrupting your place of rest."
It reaches out. You know how bears grab things where it's like they grab
Yeah,
things like you know? It goes and like grabs it and kind of like just leaves the fish like half hanging out of its mouth before scritching its stomach again, and then kind of looking over.
yeah, and I'll start backing away from it, back into
Back
the
away for a
fog.
second, and just kind of like slowly leans forward and gets back onto its paws, and begins moseying its way out away from the hut, and again into the brush where you back to where it came. You assume.
What a kind fellow. What a nice neighbor to have. And I'll move back to the hut, leaving the fog up just in case.
Absolutely.
And
You leave the
I'll
fog
return
up.
there to stand guard.
And you wait for the next several hours before eventually light begins to glow over the distance and in between the trees. Dawn arrives, and the next day comes.
I'll nudge Ultrez awake and say, "Hey, kiddo,
Yeah.
we gotta head down to the beach and set up something so that way they know that we're here, other than some sort of canoe."
Oh,
And then,
okay.
Yep, and then I'll see if we don't get anything towards around midday. I'll see if the tides have calmed down at all, and see if I can communicate my wishes to get some help out here.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
So you guys make your way back down to the beach. How are you planning on communicating?
Well, we should probably set up some sort of SOS kind of thing. Maybe a big fire.
Signal fire? Absolutely. Burn some foliage.
Yep. Some foliage, as Cud would say.
You get down to the beach, and Cud, you quickly send Ultrez to work. You guys begin to gather materials, get some rocks going, so you make a little fire ring, maybe draw an SOS in the sand, before eventually you get around to making a much larger fire than the one that you had the night before, dumping a bunch of torn grass onto it, all this type of stuff that makes a lot of smoke. And you begin, and you eventually have this column of smoke rising out of the air. And once you have that column, you guys are very, very visible at this point.
I mean, we aren't even too far from shore, so they can probably see something maybe even
Yeah.
from the docks.
The beautiful thing about this island is like, as soon as you don't have to be too far away to see things. Exactly.
Mhm.
And so it's really not that long. After about an hour or so, you can see a boat on the horizon making its way towards you. A little bit bigger, not a canoe, something a little bit larger, actually made to be out on sea, small sailboat. And within 10-15 minutes of you seeing it, that boat pulls up onto shore, or not the sailboat, but the drop anchor, get on a dinghy, and Giovanni comes rushing up onto the sand. Oh my gosh, Master
hey,
Ultrez, are you
Giovanni.
alright?
I'm doing great.
You're okay?
God,
He picks you up, he like flips you over, makes sure that there's no like cuts on you.
Woo!
Wow. Hey, Giovanni, can you put me out, please? Oh,
I'm sorry, my master.
yeah. Wow. He just like looks past Giovanni in the boat. He's like, that's a big boat.
Yes, this is your family's sailboat.
We have a sailboat. What Cud, we have a sailboat.
Cud has the moment that he like saw the boat going and Ultras was distracted by it and like got close to the shore. He like backed off and has like jumped into the ocean on the other side of the island to swim his own way back home because he feels very uncomfortable around fancy rich people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cud, where'd you go?
The only evidence though is his fishing pole is still stuck in the sand.
That's right.
He just walks over and picks up the fishing pole. He's like, where did Cud go? We can't leave without him.
Who's Cud?
Yeah, but he's my friend. You remember? He's the one who met me at on the canoe. We were fishing together.
Oh, the fishman, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's fine. Let's go. And he just grabs you, throws you in the dinghy, and you guys begin rowing back before eventually getting onto the sailboat, making your way. Ultrez, you're kind of having a panic attack for a second.
Yeah. 100%.
You're like, oh my gosh, like we're just leaving Cud.
We're just leaving Cud. He's gonna die.
And you guys get turned around. It's not long before, almost like a dolphin, you see Cud.
Yeah, I like whisper to some fish to like do some sick jumps out of the water and to like grab an attention. Then my head just pops up.
And you guys make it back to the waves for. And once you're back on shore, you retell your story to your friends and family, all the servants. You explain how you guys got lost and you found the island. You went fishing. You went noodling, and you built a whole cabin on the thing, whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, you are safe and sound once again, and Cud and Ultrez are ready for the next adventure.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're going to end right with that. Nice little short story of you guys having a night out on the beach.
This was adorable.
It was supposed to be adorable.
This was the most wholesome thing we've ever done.
It probably, outside of maybe Camp Cryptid.
Camp Cryptid was also pretty wholesome.
But I don't know. There was some kidnapping stuff in there.
That was my goal. I was like, you know what? I do a lot of really dark and grueling stuff, and that's really difficult to plan because I have to be mean and terrible and actually have a plan. This, I'm like, I can just throw them out there. They're going to have a good time.
Basic survival issues. They're level 1.
And then, give them some checks and they'll be good to go. So, super simple. Sorry that we couldn't record the main episode for the people at home. You can come back hopefully next week. I believe next week.
I don't think that there's anything that I know of that would stop us from being live at the main campaign next week. Then again, I don't know anything of what goes on with people.
Absolutely. So. But hopefully come back next week for the main campaign once again. Hope you enjoyed this little one shot. I had a really fun time playing it, DMing it. And come back on Thursday for a deep psychological analysis of who Cud is and why.
We're delving into the deep lore of Cud. Who is Cud? We saw a few of his abilities. Where does he come from? Where does he go?
Also, as a note, part of me is very tempted. Years from now, we're gonna totally forget about Ultras and Cud, and like they're just both gonna reappear in campaign 3.
Oh yeah, these characters I can sense they're gonna make a comeback, and it's gonna be wholesome every single time.
It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys have a great rest of your night. We'll say good luck and godspeed, Dungeoneers, and we will see you next time. Have a great rest of your night, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.